Well, Sheila and folks, the story now is that since a week ago Sunday, the Hitler Youth Movement is now coming to Shepherd and Bathurst, and to use a Bruce Springsteen line, they're wearing trouble on their shirts. They want a confrontation. They want violence. They openly chant for genocide, which, by the way, don't take my word for it, call it up under the Criminal Code of Canada, Section 319, you cannot do. And yet again on Sunday, what did we see? Well, there was, and by the way, this is important footage. I would say at this point, the pro-Israel demonstration on the west side of Bathurst easily outnumbered the pro-Hamas people by a factor of, I'd say, 50 to 1. But there was an allegation that one of the pro-Israel demonstrators did the, line across the throat, which is not nice. But it's certainly, in my view, Sheila, nowhere near chanting genocide from the river to the sea, Jews go back to Europe, intifada. And a pro-Hamas guy complained to the cops. Well, that guy, we caught footage of it. He was descended upon by about 10 police officers, handcuffed, charged, arrested, thrown in a cruiser, and taken away while the chants for genocide rang out. Now, Ephraim Monsanto and I went to the east side of Bathurst. And by the way, that wasn't by design. We were originally going to do kind of quasi-wildlife photography by standing on the island and reporting what the pro-Hamas people were saying, folks. But a police officer said you're not allowed to stand on the island for whatever reason. No reason was given. So I went over to the east side of Bathurst, and this pro-Hamas guy began interacting with me. And I think at least 3 times he struck me, my microphone. On one occasion, the mic flash, that's the piece of plastic with the Rebel News logo, was literally knocked off it and then was subsequently stolen by another hobo for Hamas. And this was in full view of the police. And it was Ephraim and I who were told to leave because, and this is the whopper, folks, they, meaning the Hitler Youth Movement, don't want you here, meaning on a public sidewalk in 24th century Toronto, Canada. This wasn't private property. He has no claim to it. I have every much of a right to be there. And I think there's the mic flash going bye-bye. And this is being witnessed, folks, by the cops. And nothing to see here.
He's right there. He's literally right there.
Yep.
The second it happens, he steps in to get you out of there.
Yep.
And look how emboldened these hobos for Hamas are. They can push past the cop to get to you.
Oh,
Do you see that? They're that aggressive. They're reaching in between you and the cop to get to you, and not a damn thing happens to these people. That guy behind him just took evidence of the crime.
Yeah.
He snapped a picture of it as he's hitting you. Do you think the cops are going to go over there and say, hey, can you give that to me? You took a photo of this. Where are you going to publish that so we can pull down evidence of the crime and prosecute the people responsible? They're arguing with the cops about why they have a right to hit you. Like, this is the craziest thing.
And look at that. He's about to swat the microphone again. Maybe miss, maybe even make contact with that police officer. By the way, the cop lied, Sheila, because when I was being frog marched across the street, I said, listen, I want to go back and get my property. And he said, don't worry about that. We'll get it for you, which they did not. And my conclusion, Sheila, I'm sorry, when it comes to these pro-Hamas hooligans, and I don't understand the unspoken strategy, because usually it's keeping the peace and look at the numbers of people, but not yesterday, Sheila, because the pro-Israeli people vastly outnumbered these thugs, and still they won't do anything. And we've seen earlier this year on cold days, well, the cops will just deliver Timbits and coffee to the jihadis. So my conclusion is, and I'm glad we got a shot of that. We should put up a reward, I suppose, for the return of our property. My conclusion, Sheila, is we're not under Canadian law anymore. We're under Sharia law. The question is, why?
Well, I wouldn't say Canada is. I would say Toronto is.
Yep.
At this point, don't drag me into this. Um, but well, I think it's obvious. We saw Myron Demke meet with Justin Trudeau. There's that famous photo of the pair of them meeting.
Yep.
And I think Justin Trudeau has run the numbers. He knows there are more Hamas supporters than there are Jews in Toronto, and that's a terrible indictment of our immigration system at this point.
Yep.
And he's just based this photo, and so
Yep.
he's basically saying, like, look, we know which side we can piss off and which one we can't. So do what you do.
And the chief does not take his marching orders from the prime minister.
Of course
So-
not, but he wants to be the next Bill Blair, asleep at the switch while foreign interference is just running amok, and Bill Blair's in his slippers and his bathrobe at home during the pandemic watching Wheel of Fortune, I bet.
Unbelievable. And you know what? We will, the pro-Israel protester, Sheila, I did speak to his wife and passed on my contact information. We wanted to do a follow-up story to see if this guy was actually charged. It is outrageous. I think we're going to see a repeat of it this Sunday. And make no mistake, Sheila, there are literally thousands of intersections in Toronto. Those pro-Hamas people could pick anyone you choose. The cops aren't going to stop you. They came here because that's where the pro-Israel demonstration is. They came here because there is a significant Jewish population, and they want to cause trouble, clearly. They want to, dine out on their manufactured victimhood. That's all this is about. Oh, and by the way, irony of irony, Sheila, that plaza, that intersection, that's located right in the riding of Yara Sachs. Was she there in solidarity with the Jewish community yesterday? No, I guess maybe she was busy. Was she off to the Middle East getting handsy with Mahmoud Abbas to pay for slay Islamist terrorists? Yeah, was that it, Yara? What a disgrace.